Experts say to expect more wildfire smoke and poor air quality days this summer in the Northeast. That's because of widespread Canadian wildfires. We've talked a lot about guidelines for humans when air quality is poor. Stay inside, use air purifiers, wear a mask outdoors, especially if you're young, old, or have pre-existing lung conditions. But animals notice and are impacted by the smoke too. How should you protect your pets? That's today's story of the day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Claxton Hepburn Medical Center, dedicated to providing patient care and regional services to the people of St. Lawrence County. claxtonhepburn.org.
Hi, I'm Amy Feiereisel, in for David Summerstein this week. It's Thursday, July 20th. First up, a nonprofit in Watertown is now offering free fentanyl test strips. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that's 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. The Northern Regional Center for Independent Living says the test strips are available in Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence counties. The organization wants to make them more accessible due to the increase of fentanyl use in the region. We have more information about how to get the test strips on our website, ncpr.org. You might soon see cannabis stands at farmers markets, fairs, and festivals across New York. The state just approved a measure allowing the sale of cannabis at such events. The vote by the state's Cannabis Control Board could help solve a problem caused by the state's delays in opening cannabis retail stores. While hundreds of retail licenses have been approved, only 20 stores have opened. That's left around 200 cannabis farmers stranded, with virtually no legal outlets to sell their crops. Karen DeWitt reports that the Office of Cannabis Management suggested markets and fairs as outlets.
At a May town hall meeting that the office held with the growers, Director of Policy John Kagia laid out a proposal to let them set up booths at summer farmers markets where adults over the age of 21 could buy their products. He says the farmers could gain access to the markets through one of the state's licensed retailers.
We're thinking very expansively about the types of places this can be done. As long as we can get municipal approval to host these events, we're going to be pretty liberal in trying to have these be events that can both be set up as independent type farmers markets. So if you have a farm, if you have a location that you want to set up an event, we'll support that. But also if you want to piggyback on an event that already exists, a concert, a festival, some other sort of agricultural event, and there's a way to get our cannabis folks in there, we would love for that to happen.
Kagia told the growers that he had authorization at a high level to discuss the plans with them.
We hope that the farmers markets will present an opportunity to finally unlock this product and help New Yorkers see the excellent quality that you guys have grown.
Many growers welcome the idea. At the time of the meeting, officials said they expected the first sales to begin within a few weeks. But those weeks have passed, as well as the July 4th holiday weekend, and the plans have not advanced. An OCM spokesman in a statement took a much more neutral stance on the proposal, while spokesman Aaron Gittleman says they are always open to considering opportunities to strengthen the state's cannabis industry. He also says no final decisions have been made with respect to the farmers' markets. Potential barriers to the farmers' market model include some local governments that have opposed retail cannabis shops and the fact that the drug is still illegal under federal law and the markets could jeopardize federal funding. In Albany, I'm Karen DeWitt.
Smoke from Canadian wildfires made air quality unhealthy for sensitive groups in much of the North Country earlier this week. It's pretty good today, but experts say we should expect more poor air quality days this summer. Humans, especially those with pre-existing conditions, can get sick from exposure. Dr. Ali Cohen, a veterinarian with Cornell University, says our pets can experience similar risks.
Especially when it's heavy enough where we can actually smell the smoke in the air. If you can smell it, your pet is experiencing the effects of that as well.
Cohen told Champlain Valley reporter Kara Chapman that symptoms to watch out for in your pets include red, watery eyes, coughing, or gagging.
The times where I would be more concerned is if you actually start to see a fast respiratory rate. That would be indications that they're being affected by the poor air quality.
Is that the point that you would seek veterinary care when you're noticing that kind of rapid respiratory breathing? Are there other signs to look out for?
you know your pet best. If you know that they have a pre-existing condition, I would first and foremost always speak with your vet, of course. But a lot of the times, if you're outside and you're seeing it, I would first just go inside, see if they're at rest, does that go away? And if that respiratory rate is staying elevated, even once you're inside, then sure, I would seek advice from your veterinarian at that point.
Aside from, going inside, is there anything to do to protect your pets? Like for us humans, they recommend, masking up as well, depending on how bad the air quality is. So what should pet owners be doing to protect their animals from the smoke?
So unfortunately, we can't have our pets be wearing masks while they're outside. And so a lot of this is going to revolve just strictly around prevention. And so the most you can stay inside when we're having these alerts, the better off they're going to be. Of course, for our dogs and some cats that have access to outdoors, they go out and that's where they do their potty breaks. And so that's still fine to do. I would just really limit that time. If you're normally one, you go and take them on this 2-mile walk every day, twice a day. Maybe let's just rein that in during the high alert times and just do bathroom breaks only. In the house, if you have access to, air purifiers, that's ideal because you can definitely still get the smoke that's trailing into the house. Keeping the windows shut best you can if you've got air purifiers. If not, even just fans to kind of move the air around indoors.
I actually have a fairly young dog myself right now, and she kind of goes a little nuts. Yeah, when she doesn't go outside. So what do you recommend people do indoors to either, exercise, entertain, stimulate their pets?
Increasing that indoor enrichment. So any enrichment activities don't have to be fancy. For me, that could be any long-lasting treats. Whether that's the chew bones that are going to last a little bit longer, that are safe for their teeth, or a frozen stuffed Kong. Those are those kind of silicone rubber toys, any kind of puzzle feeders. You don't have to go out and buy anything special. You can always make your own kind of enrichment toys just with cardboard box, crumpled up newspaper, as long as they're not going to eat it or do anything inappropriate. Just anything to kind of keep their brain active and occupied.
The North Country is a very rural area, so there's a lot of people who have chickens, horses, cows, and other livestock, and they spend most of their lives just outdoors or in open air structures. So is there anything that can be done to protect them as well?
Birds can be really susceptible to any type of toxin that is in the air. And so I would say even if for their chickens, if they have any sort of coop that they can keep them in, that would probably be great. But in a lot of those, you have to be careful because if they're in it too long, you're dealing with their own toxins that they're producing from their ammonia and whatnot. As far as with cows and horses, horses can sometimes be prone to asthma in general, just from their own feed and the hay and the dust that's produced from that. And so I would just maybe be extra cautious with wetting down their hay that they're being fed, so it's not producing even more dust from that. Having plenty of fresh water available at all times, and some people with bigger operations, if they have an indoor barn for their horses to stay in, that might be better. If they had any planned transports coming up or anything like that, I would just postpone any of that, since most of our cows, horses, or other large animals will get really stressed during times of transport, and that can sometimes trigger a pneumonia and things like that. So anything to minimize their stress so that their lung health is at least not going to be compromised anymore.
That was Dr. Allie Cohen, a veterinarian at Cornell University, speaking with NCPR's Kara Chapman. We've got more news all the time at ncpr.org. Music today was by Sterling Brownell in Old Forge and Zoe Knight from Potsdam. I'm Amy Feiereisel, North Country Public Radio.